What's up, guys? Today I'll show you exactly how we audit a PDP, a product page, so that you might learn something as well, which you can apply to your own store. We always follow the same sort of structure, so I think you're going to have some really good ideas for how to sort of go through this process yourself. First of all, we are on this page. It's called Maniac Nails. They sell a starter kit. This is one of their top products. And to optimize that page, we want to see what's happening, what's going on, and so forth. Now, this is a blind audit, meaning I don't have access to their data. So I'm just going to use whatever information I can find online to optimize their store. The first thing I might want to do is to scrape comments and kind of understand what is going on, what are people saying about the product. So I can use my internal tool. Let's just go there really quickly. And again, this is not mandatory, but this is just a process that we follow now. I go into my audit tool, the script writer, and I already did a research report thing for them earlier, and I'll just access that report, and that has all the things I need, which is in here. And then under TikTok, Reddit, and deep research and Zero, I can find a lot of very, very good things very, very fast, right? You can see I ran the audit already. I can look at my Reddit report, my deep research report. Once I've done that, I can then pop that into AI tools and I can scan to see what are the issues on the website. And I was able to do that and I found a lot of very, very interesting things. One of the things I want to show you is that I was able to create this presentation for them based on the audit, and I found some really cool things. Basically, it goes over what we did, but I think this is very interesting. So the AI audit already based on Reddit comments and TikToks and so forth, it basically identified that this product, which is essentially like a sticker, like a nail sticker, it's not really what people are buying. Basically, the woman that's buying this is she's buying back time. She's buying back her Saturday, right? And this is not something that's really reflected in the PDP. So it's like they're not really talking to their end customer and they're not really framing them. We can also see if we land here on the page, it's such a basic page. I have zero framing. I don't understand the product. I'm just going straight into like picking some colors. So this is basically too much too soon. They are not explaining the product, which means that all the pressure is on the ads to explain the product and totally frame them before they land on this PDP. Right? So you would almost need a listicle or you would need something else before you land on this page. Otherwise, you would have to change this PDP. So this audit is very, very useful. We do that, and it's from our AI audit. We pop that information into an AI, and then we can create our report and we can get a really good understanding of where things are right now, right? So for example, this is very interesting as well. Above the fold, this is a really, really high impact change. The title describes the product, but it should describe the transformation. So it says right now, start as at pick 2 designs. But what it should really be saying is you'll get saloon gel nails in 15 minutes. And then, yeah, whatever you can, this is obviously AI generated, but you can say like there's no salon, there's no damage to your nail or anything like that. Like you don't have to use a drill or anything to do anything. So this is very powerful. I think this is very true. This is something that's really missing on the page right now as well. So it scraped Reddit and did a lot of community intelligence work. And so there are some very interesting findings there. For example, something about, hair catching is the #1 reason why women leave every gel wrap brand. Maniac's top coat seals the edges and prevents it entirely. This page never says so. So apparently, one of the reasons why people don't do nails themselves is because of this reason, and we're not even mentioning this reason, right? So this is again a huge issue on the page as well. The best reason to buy Maniac is buried in a Dutch review. So basically, it says something in Dutch. Women with thin, weak, or damaged nails are the highest intent buyers in this category. They have been let down by every other solution. The starter box acts as a protective shield that lets nail grow back strong. That benefit does not appear anywhere above the fold. Again, we're just so far away from a page that actually works because it's not framing them at all. So this goes on, and I'm not going to really bore you with all the details, but basically that's what our audit revealed. Then we did like the 20 most profitable tests according to our AI. which is very good. Of course, we always take that with a grain of salt, but it's a really good starting point to understand what could be done on the page. Yeah, then there's just a little bit about what we can do and so forth. But anyway, what I want to show you next is then an audit with it, right? So we have the before and after, which you can see here of their page. So we actually took this into account, right? So what is happening here is that we can see that suddenly we went from static up here, nothing interesting, to we have like very important little things up here that people might want to read more into. For example, how it works, what's inside. You can click on that and it will expose it. We also changed the name from starter set to saloon quality nails at home. Everything you need for 2 to 4 weeks of perfect nails, no experience required, right? Like, so basically a little bit more framing, a little bit more copy is a lot better. And also we're framing them with what it costs at a salon, and then what it costs at a maniac. I don't know if these prices are even correct, but just to kind of show, it's very nice to show the salon and then what it costs for the system, which is a lot cheaper, obviously. And then the price per manicure, which was also very interesting. Framing that means it's quite easy to understand and justify the pricing. Then comes the big issue down here. You can see they have these, like, there's way too much spacing down here. And also, the way they're set up here is that they don't invite you to find the colors, whereas here we opened it up a bit so that you can get inspired by the colors, right? And this is really important because for this type of product, what really makes you buy is also finding that perfect color that you love. Whereas here, you're not really being invited into it. You have to open it up and click, and it takes a long time. The other thing is we exposed different types of nails, so classic, bold, and bright, and so on. And that can work really well because the way we're setting it up is you can highlight and find what you need very, very fast. Then we don't want to like push the add to cart button in their face above the fold because of the complexity of the product. So we moved it down here with all the USPs and risk reversals, right? So this is a lot better system for that. Then we go down here, we can see we have changed it a little bit. We added like the social media influencers, a little bit of trust that was missing over here before. There was no social proof. There was only these reviews, but they were just looked like fake reviews, honestly. And then a little bit about how it works, the founder story, and so forth. So just like optimizing everything down here, and then reviews, FAQ, and so forth, right? So all this is not super important because people never get down here, but if they do, then there's a lot of things like how it works and reviews and so forth. So this is really good. The other thing we did was we actually did this in GitHub. We actually created this for the client so they could see our idea. Course is like, low key, fast vibe coding and so forth, but it still shows the idea with like a lot of the changes. We even translated it to Dutch because the client is operating in this market. And one thing we're doing here is like we're showing the selector and how we believe it should be working with the new copy. So here you can pick a color and you can also go and say, oh, I only want the trendy colors, and I can pick those. And it automatically shows what's in here, and the cart automatically updates with the total, which is also really important. And then it says here you can add in additional nails for 50% off, and you can pick another one. Probably I would change it a little bit so you can keep picking, and it keeps updating the price. You don't have to manually click here every time you want a fourth or fifth or sixth nail. So that's a little fix we would definitely do as well. But this is a really good system, and it's a big contrast to their system, which is a little bit more clunky with all this pop-up stuff. And I cannot go out now. Like, what if I don't really want it? Then I can't do anywhere. Now I have to pick a lot. I'm completely stuck, and I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna leave the page, honestly. This was not possible for me to navigate in. So I'll try over again. So I go in here, and I'm kind of locked into picking the colors now. I can't research the product if I want to see how it works. I'm committed now because if I want to go out, I want to click up here, I can't. So now I just have to pick the colors, right? So it's a bit too clunky, it takes over your screen too much. And that's what we're solving with our system, which we think is a lot better, like what you see right here. So to sum up, one thing I can definitely recommend that you do is use an AI to scrape what people's deepest concerns are with the product, their biggest hesitations. Then you can use something like Manus, for example, like an AI or ChatGPT or Gemini to analyze all that research. And then we've just built our own skill sets in there so we can do an audit and a presentation. Then our designer or CRO specialist will grab that in the end and do a redesign, like comparison, like what you see right here, with those ideas from the AI audit. If we had access to GA4, if we had access to the Shopify and so forth, we would also take a look at that. Probably also take a look at their competitors as well. And then we create this before and after that's very rooted in actual data and not just best practices. And then, of course, at the end of the day, if you like this a lot, it's so easy to vibe code these things. So you could take the Figma and you can actually create that with Claude or Manus or any other AI, and you can actually vibe code it. And that allows you to play with the functionality a lot more. So these are the kind of presentations we do for our clients when we want to work with them. Potentially, like this is a quick audit that could happen before we even land them as a client. If we want to show what we can do, I think this is the best way to demonstrate your skills. And obviously, I think this could be a 30 to 50% higher conversion rate with all those changes in mind. So it means makes a huge, meaningful difference. So anyway, I hope this was useful. If you liked it a lot, please comment below. If you want the AI tools, it's also below. And otherwise, see you next time.